Good morning and welcome back to the Farm2Table Show Morning Edition. Today we're asking a question that hits right at the core of what we do here. Why are the old ways coming back? Why are people learning to bake bread, sew their own clothes, or fix their own tools when convenience is just a click away? Today's show, Forgotten Homesteading Skills Making a Comeback. From helpless to handy, one step at a time. Let's get into it. Good morning, everybody. Let's face it, we've lost something. We live in a world where we can DoorDash dinner, order replacement parts in seconds, and stream any tutorial online. But when the power's out, the store shelves are empty, or the internet goes down, a lot of us are in trouble. We're convenient rich, but skill poor. Many folks can't cook a meal from scratch, sew on a button, or sharpen a blade. And it's not because they're lazy, it's because they were never taught. These weren't passed down because our culture traded skill for speed. Here's the consequence: we depend on fragile systems, we spend more and produce less. And when crisis comes, big or small, we're unprepared. Good morning, everybody. Glad to see you all coming in. This is also a spiritual issue. In Scripture, wisdom says, wisdom is always paired with actions. Proverb 31 praises a woman who works with her hands, plants a vineyard, and laughs at the days to come. She's ready because she's capable. We were never meant to be helpless. We were created to be stewards. The part of stewardship is knowing how to care for what God has put in our hands with our hands. But now here's the good news. People are waking up. We're seeing a revival of forgotten skills, and it's a beautiful thing. More people are baking sourdough, preserving food, learning to knit, sew, garden, and repair, raising chickens and building compost piles, learning to read labels, make soap, use herbs. This movement isn't about nostalgia. It's about resilience. It's about reclaiming what our grandparents knew. Not because we want to go backward, but because we want to move forward stronger. And the most encouraging part, you don't need to learn it all at once. Start with one skill, just one skill. All right. Here are 5 practical skills that are making a comeback and why they matter. Number 1, bread making. This is one I'm particularly interested in, as I bought an older bread maker, and somebody the other day in the comments said that I could put that in my bread machine. I could do sourdough in there. I'm interested. We're going to have to try that. Simple loaf of bread teaches patience, timing, resourcefulness, and it feeds your family cheaply. Number 2, mending clothes. Basic sewing extends the life of your clothes, saves money, and teaches us gratitude for what we have. How many of us remember having patches, having to patch clothes or jeans and stuff when we were kids? I know I remember that. How many have ever darned a pair of socks? That's what they call it, darning socks. How many have ever done that? I have. And you know what? Made things last a lot longer. Basic carpentry or tool use, even just learning to hang a shelf, build a box, or repair a fence post, puts you back in charge of your space. All right, and those are important things we can do with our hands, little skills we can pick up along the way. Number 4, gardening. Growing a little food, even a salad's worth, is powerful. It reconnects you to seasons, soil, and sustainability. Food preservation, whether canning, freezing, or fermenting, preserving foods cuts waste and boosts preparedness. I remember nothing, we grew up in a generation, I did anyway, I grew up with parents that we tried not to waste very much, and even more so with the grandparents. And I think that's something we need to bring back, and I remember gardening. Gardening was a fun and experience, learning, and it's still fun. It's still cool to see things grow. All right. Now, these are not just hobbies, they are life giving habits that restore dignity, calm anxiety, and build community. That's one of the things I enjoy about it. I think that is, so much of our problems get solved when we do this. Uh, think about that. When calm anxiety, how much of our society is anxiety ridden? If they could just have some of these things, if they could do some of these things, building community, you know how we feel here about that on the Farm to Table Direct show or Farm to Table show. I'm saying direct still. Man, that's going to be a hard habit to break. But anyway, that's just kind of a look at some of those things that are going on. And, that's the way it is. That's some of that stuff. Let's go. I probably have to go back into some of that. I went through pretty fast on that. I can't believe that. It is a good topic. You know, how many things got lost in the generations? You know, uh, no kidding. Joy said I was happy when they came out with iron-on patches for jeans. All right, I remember that. I still you can still find them. But yeah, I had those. Was what those were once they got patches. You go a little while long. I'm gonna go ahead and go through and say good morning to everybody. Good morning, Robbie. Good morning, David Lacey. Good morning, Scotty. Let's see. Good morning, Joy Bartlett. Let's see where all we got down through here. Good morning, Ed Kirkpatrick. Glad to have you in. Good morning. Let's see who else we got. Good morning, Clyde. Let's have a cup of coffee. Good morning, Tracy and Tim, the kitchen, and yeah, I think I got everybody there. Yeah. All right. Well, glad to have you all in. Anyway, yeah, it's that subtitle from helpless to handy. There's so many of these skills that we lose along the way, and it amazes me. I started learning several years ago blacksmithing. Got into that, was enjoying that, and that was all I wanted. Everybody wanted to make knives, and which was cool, and I did make one or two. Good morning, Jack. Glad to have you in Dyer Family Farm. Um, but for me, I wanted to learn how to make tools. I want to learn how I made a draw blade, have my own draw blade. Wasn't pretty, but it worked. Wanted to learn how to make. Don't worry, Jack. I'll get you. I'll get you there. I gotta see you. Good morning. Yeah, and we'll get to the weather report shortly. Um, I remember doing that. I remember learning how to do that blacksmith and run the coal and do all that. Now I didn't stick with it, my shoulders and stuff. It just one of those things. But I have the tools and I have the capability, and I learned a skill. And that's what it's all about. Things that we can rely on, things that we can fall back on when things go south, if you will. That's why I keep hand tools. I keep looking for hand tools and stuff to buy old stuff, the ways of doing things with woodworking, etc. Because I worry about what happens when the power goes out. And baking bread. Now I've done it once or twice, way back years ago. Uh, and still want to go back to it. And Scotty, so is the one thing I'm not good at. Scotty, I will promise you, I am not what I would call good, uh, but I can sew some things together. Used to be pretty decent, but I stopped doing it. That was by hand. And you want to know what was funny? My dad was who taught me that. Started teaching me to sew on buttons and how to tie a thread and how to tie a knot and thread, and taught me how to iron. Taught me how to cook. The first stages of learning how to cook, basic cooking. Um, and which you may say, well, your dad taught you all those things. Yeah, because my mom worked second shift, and so it was me and my dad home a lot. And I was like, "Oh, Dad, that's girl stuff." I mean, it really was. That was exactly what it was. That's girl stuff. And it was my attitude. And he said, "Boy," he said, "you need to learn these things because you might not always have you're not always going to have your mama, and you might not, have a wife, or you might not have a wife that knows how to do these things. You might have that, and So I learned those things, the basics, and then I went in the military, and they taught me some more things. Listen, you be safe on your drive, Jack. You know, but definitely into that, and that's it. And this is what it's all about right here, David. And I'm going to share that. Learning skills we can use and teach others to do to build a community of self reliance. That's it. Passing that on. That's part of the community. Um, because not everybody can is going to, some people get better at skills than others. They find things that they like or that they can do, and then the ability to pass that on and teach others. And of course, that's the importance of the expos and the events. um, but anyway, so I think it's important for that very reason. And like I said, a lot of this is not laziness that people didn't know. They just weren't taught. We traded in convenience. um, we traded all that in for convenience. And I just, even preserving food, I remember doing stuff as a kid, but I never learned it. I mean, I seen it being done, but some of that I didn't get to do. um, I got a nephew that has started making soap and making candles. Yeah, good morning, bro, glad to see you in. um, you know I remember people having compost piles when I was a kid, but I never did it. Um, and so those are things that are coming along. I've certainly never done sourdough bread. I've done some bread, but sourdough's a different deal. Um, and I remember watching canning happening and stuff. Those things are there. Now repair. After that is figuring things out. And um, it's problem solving, I guess, is the best way. If you know the basics, then problem solving. And that's what I like doing with it. Our grandparents, this wasn't survival. This wasn't self reliance. This wasn't sustainability. This wasn't homesteading. This wasn't all these catchy names that we put on things. All right. It was daily living. It was just how they lived. They figured things out, and, repurpose, reuse, recycle. You'll hear me say that a lot, um, because I'm big into that, because that's how you make your dollar go farther. That's how you don't waste things. That's how, and if you can't do nothing else and it's burnable and safely burnable, and yes, and that was it right there. From convenient rich and skill poor. And it does say a lot, and that's where we're at. That's where we have become as a society. Now I think this movement back to the old ways. Uh, Now I'm gonna have to go. I remember dipping my bowl in the milk tank to get milk at my buddy's house so I could have cereal. Now that's definitely going back to a different different way of doing things. The milk tank. There's some memories of being on a farm or being in a rural, uh, that we don't see anymore. Um, and let's see. Joey said they made their own cottage cheese. Um, uh, and Jack said, "I did." I said, "I didn't learn to milk cows. My job was to put the feed in the feedlots." There you go. Man, 14 loaves at a time, Scotty. That's amazing. I hate that the arthritis is kicked in, and I know what you're feeling. I've got it in my hands, and shoulders are tore up, but I've definitely got it in my hands. Um, and I think we knew we made your own cottage cheese. We knew that. Yeah, it's those things. Hashtag back to the old ways. Um, more hashtags. There you go, David. You can have that one. Hashtag back to the old ways. Uh, it's it is important, I think, that we revive these. That's what's so good about the when you see things out at the demonstrations and stuff out at the expos and events, is learning that. I mean, you wouldn't have thought that mending clothes. I mean, my wife's got a little basket that she keeps that has buttons and needle and thread and various things, and I'll use it. She uses it to keep buttons and stuff. Uh, but I mean, there's no sewing machine in the house. It's just hand. 2,000-gallon milk tank on their dairy. Man, uh, that's a big gallon, which I guess it is and isn't, but they were obviously a dairy farm. But and basic carpentry or tool use. I mean, it's like there's people that don't know that wouldn't know certain tools if they saw them. I mean, and they've never used them. They've never had to. It's a throwaway. It became a throwaway generation. Everything was made to be thrown away and replaced. And I think as the economies come and go, and as people, especially recently, have the prices of things have gotten so high that people are like, man, we've got to go back to doing things differently. And we've got to start, fixing things instead of just throwing them away. Uh, I've noticed a rise here lately in this area of appliance repair. People are starting to get back to repairing their refrigerators and their what dishwashers or washing machines and dryers and stuff instead of just chunking them out and grabbing a new one. Uh, I took mine in for repair, and the guy was like, "Man, it'll, you know, a lot of money in that, in that refrigerator." And I'm like, "Yeah, but it's still cheaper than buying a new one because to replace, I spent $100 to fix it, and it was, you know, $100 something to fix it, and it would have been a tooth. It would have been a $1,500 refrigerator." Well, I can justify that math. Good morning, Shane Cody. Glad to see you in with us, bud. You know, so those things that are changing and we need to change. So just wanted to kind of go over that, kind of look at some of these lost skills and the fact that they are making a comeback. And that's the most important thing, that these things are coming back around. Now, fortunately, we do have YouTube videos and we have how to's and we have a lot of instruction out there to learn how to do this stuff. And more people are getting interested in realizing that, learning these things. So I think it's super important. Some friends of ours, they're doing knife making, basic knife making. Uh, Man, 160 head twice a day. Yeah, that's a lot of cow milking. you know, um, and I mean that's work. That's the work that went into that one. Uh, uh, I'm going to share that, Robbie. That's a big thing. My parents had a large garden. They had cows and a hog. That's where I get my background in doing this. Both my grandmothers sewed and didn't throw stuff away. Exactly. That was the big thing, was they didn't throw stuff away. Um, and I had grandmothers that quilted, and did all the quilting. I still remember at my granny's house the big quilting loom hanging from the ceiling, and they'd pull it down and they'd quilt, and you know that was a big thing. And again, that's I have, like, in our local community, there's a ladies quilting group, and they get together and they quilt and they still do that stuff, and they're keeping that skill set alive, and I think that's valuable and important. Um, so there it is. So, go out and learn an old skill or bring one back. And many of you already are. Don't get me wrong. I mean, many of us in this community. But if you've not, consider that. Consider going back and learning something that maybe just doesn't get done anymore. I think it's important. I've got a whole long list of things that I get to learn once we get infrastructure finished and, get the house finished. But, um, you know, and honestly, even working here in the house, I learned that stuff as a kid, but it's bringing back a lot of things that I learned how to do. It's bringing it back, and it's getting back into it, and I'm grateful that I know how. But anyway, so that's that. Forgotten homesteading skills making a comeback. So let's move on over here. And Joey said her mother's 93 and still loves to quilt. Yeah, those who love it, I don't think they ever lose the passion for it. But anyway, we're going to move on and let's get into the redneck weather report. Let's go over here and share that. Let's see what the weather was in Jack's house this morning. There we go. All right. Here we go, Jack.
Good morning, Rednecks. It is 48 degrees this morning, April the 16th, 2025. We got a 5-mile-an-hour southeast wind making it feel like it's 45. But get this, y'all. We're going to get to 82 today. God bless y'all. We'll see you again tomorrow.
All right. Man, getting a little warm today. Uh, getting Cody said, share knife making is a time making skill. It is. It's and having done it and doing it professional, doing it nice and turning out a nice piece is a time skill. And I have one of Cody's knives in my collection that he made when he was doing that, and probably never use it. Just one of those things you. Here we go. Uh, I'm going to share this, David. That's great. One man's trash is another man's treasure, but that can definitely be taken overboard. That's where hoarding and clutter comes into play. True story. True story. My neighbor's a prime example of the trash and treasure. He's a metal guy, scrap metal guy. He has that stuff laying all over his yard out there, his property and stuff, and it piles up, and then he'll haul off loads. And but he's an older guy, very senior older guy, and that's a secondary income. He buys things, saves up and buys things he needs with that money. That's his side hustle. Um, but it can get carried away. I would agree with that. So let's move on into today's homestead hack. Number 18, homestead hack. Reuse feed bags as tarps or grow bags. Hack, don't toss them empty feed bags out. Use them. Weatherproof tarps for tools or firewood. I've actually done the firewood thing. Uh, DIY grow bags, poke drainage holes, fill with soil, and plant. Now, I hadn't thought about that one, but that one could be a handy dandy one right there. And here's why it's great: they're durable. Those of y'all have got feed bags. They're durable and waterproof. You know, and that's important. Reduces waste. We was talking about that right there. About that. Reducing the trash, reducing waste, reusing and repurposing. They're great for portable or space saving gardens. So there you go. Reuse them feed sacks. Jackson, 82 is hot, not warm. Just saying. Yeah, uh, what's the best way to put that? It's hot right now, but hot's coming. That's what I'm afraid of. But anyway, this guy gets lost. I'm a trashy hoarder with lots of treasure. Jack, you are killing me there this morning. Yeah, that's there's that balance. I've got my pile up on the hill of things that I know I can reuse. Now, there's some things like if I've been cutting wood, lumber stuff, it gets burnt. There's some stuff just gets burned. I'm not going to reuse it. It's too tore up. But uh, but then I'll later there'll be something in there that'll be, man, I wish I'd have kept that. But and I may still save some of it. I haven't got the burn pile going too much yet. But that's just something we have to deal with there. So man, and I'm going to leave that quote of the day as what we said earlier. We are convenience rich and skill poor. And that's where we are as a society. It's changing, though. We can be the change. The more we teach, the more we get on this, the more we help others come to this, the more we can have an impact in our community. So let's move back to skill rich. You know, let's get back to, it doesn't have to be 30-second microwave convenience. Nothing wrong with it, but we don't need to forget life without it. And it goes back some of yesterday as far as off grid. The other day of off grid living. Sometimes let's turn things off and do them, the old way. My wife gets on me all the time and says I do things the hard way, and she might be right. But I'd rather take my time, do it the hard way. Sometimes that's the only way I know it's the hard way. I didn't know the easy way, but sometimes it's worth doing it the right way. And sometimes the right way is harder. So, there you go. So let's move on into the upcoming events for the next few weeks, next few months. Of course, we are almost upon it. It's April 25th and 26th. The Shindig Ozark Living Expo, Newton County Fair and Rodeo, Jasper, Arkansas. Again, as I said, Zach Bauer's going to be there. It is a free event. All they ask for is a parking donation. The Homestead Conference, April 25th and 26th, Waco, Texas. Homesteading and Outdoor Expo. Let's see, the Homestead Conference in Waco on the 25th, 26th. I was going to say that lineup is huge. Now, the price is high on the ticket, I think, but as far as, sometimes people may feel that way, but the lineup is amazing. So check that one out, the Homestead Conference. For our folks down in Florida, Homesteading and Outdoor Expo, April 26th, Port St. Lucie, Florida. That same weekend, the busiest weekend, first annual River Valley Homestead Conference and Poultry Show, April 25th, 26th, Sebastian County Fairgrounds, Greenwood, Arkansas. That one I have to try to figure out. And let's see, I'm going to get back into those comments here in a minute. And of course, the one we're all excited about, looking forward to, many of us are, 10 Killer YouTube Meetup, April 25th through the 27th, Lake 10 Killer, Oklahoma, at the Cherokee Landing State Park Creek Shelter. RSVP to 10 Killer YT Meetup at gmail.com. Looking forward to seeing many of you all there. Looking forward to that weekend. A lot going on that weekend, but we're looking forward to it. Jumping on into May, I've been seeing people posting more and more about going. Mid America YouTube Meetup, Lake Eufaula State Park, May 16th through the 18th at the Deep Fork Campground Pavilion. MT Homestead is the host. You can reach them at mthomesteadok@gmail.com. May 17th, the 5th Annual Shed Farm Homestead Festival, Garland, Kansas. I don't know much about that one. I need to research some more, but there it is. The Homestead Festival, June 6th through the 7th in Hardison Mills near Columbia, Tennessee. That is Roy Feek's place. That is another big one. Definitely one I'd love to go to. Probably won't happen this year. So, same month of June, Modern Homesteading Conference, Coeur d'Alene, Idaho. June 27th through the 28th. You can go to modernhomesteading.com to find out more about that if you're out in that western area. September 5th and 6th, the Ozarks Homestead Expo, Marshfield, Missouri. Definitely looking forward to that event. That'll kick off our fall run, and we are super excited about that one. The lineup there is looking great as always, and the vendors, and it is going to be another great year there. End of September, Oklahoma Homestead Rendezvous, September 26th to 27th, Southeast Expo Center in McAllister, Oklahoma. That is going to be a great rendezvous this year. It is going to be bigger and better. We've got speakers, more and more speakers getting found, and vendors and all that stuff. And it is going to be a great rendezvous. So definitely put that on your calendar and make plans. You can find information at Oklahoma Homestead Rendezvous on Facebook and Oklahoma Homestead Rendezvous.org. So anyway, but definitely put that one on. And of course, rounding out the year, Homesteaders of America Conference, October 10th and 11th, Front Royal, Virginia. It is the one that is going to be, that's going to be one that's a granddaddy of them all, big, huge, and definitely has a lineup that is incredible. So let me see. What did we got? I'm going to go back and read the last few of those. Gets lost in the rubble, Scotty said. Trashy hoarder with lots of treasure. Yep. Uh, if we have a pile of stuff that's for future use, we have to be sure we use it. Yeah, that's the dangerous thing. I'm going to put that up. That's a dangerous thing for me because that future could. I've got some stuff I've been holding on to for a hot minute, and I'll use it someday. But anyway, and let's see, this guy said, "Bring back the skills of old and forget convenience." Yeah, it's a hard switch, but it's one that we need to do. And I appreciate that, Tracy, with the thumbs up. Everybody, appreciate everybody being in. Uh, Jack, so I'll be glad to go out and represent Farm2Table Show in Idaho. All I need is travel and lodging from you. That's all we need is travel and lodging there, Scott. there, Jack. That's all we need. Yeah, it's we appreciate that. I would love to go to that one out there as well. And that part of Idaho, Coeur d'Alene area, is beautiful. It is a beautiful area up there. Would love to go, but that's a bit much even for us. So right now, but yeah, I'm sure that you could sell enough chicken eggs to and chickens to pay for that trip there, Jack. I'm pretty sure. You could be our sponsor. How about that? Sponsored by Dyer Family Farm. Uh, oh, y'all guys are killing me this morning. But anyway, it is time to get out of here. Hope y'all enjoyed the episode. I certainly enjoyed the chat. Enjoyed the subject matter. So anyway, that is a wrap for today on the Farm2Table Show, morning edition. Thanks for joining us as we strive towards building stronger communities for now and in the future. If you enjoyed today's episode, excuse me, like Tracy said, hit the old thumbs up. Give us a thumbs up there. Share this with your friends. Share it, share it, share it. Subscribe to our channels on Facebook, YouTube, X, and Rumble. It is the best way to stay connected and help grow the conversation about food, farming, and community. And until next time, keep your roots deep, your vision growing. Good food starts with great people just like you. And remember, we are, as many have said, hashtag stronger together. Uh, we had a couple other hashtags. Let's see, hashtag think outside the big box store, keep shop local. And what was that one that, what was that one, Scott? You had one earlier, David. Let me go back up. Oh, yeah, hashtag back to the old ways. Here we go. We can put that one in the list. Hashtag back to the old ways. Anyway, everybody be a blessing to someone today as you go out there. Even just a smile can make somebody's day just a little bit better. And so, have a great day. Hope you enjoy it. And hope it's a blessed day. Jack, I hope your procedure goes, whatever you got going with the doctors today, I hope that goes well. Safe travels back home. And everybody, y'all all have a blessed day. And we will see you all on the other side. And yes, Cody, here comes Hank.
No humans were harmed in the production of this podcast.